Greetings and welcome to Artifacts Halloween 2017. Yes, folks, welcome to a seasonal Artifacts. It is at this time of year that many believe ghouls, goblins and ghosts take flight at night. And for some, this includes gargoyles. No, not those gargoyles. These gargoyles.
Gargoyles are variants of the architectural features known as grotesques. Typically ugly or monstrous carvings, gargoyles are different from grotesques in that they convey rainwater away from buildings. This is to protect grand structures such as cathedrals in the event of a rainstorm. Rainwater running down the walls can erode cement and mortar, and so gargoyles are designed to keep rainwater away from the walls of buildings. Similar architectural solutions have been used since ancient times. In Egypt, for example, it is common to find water redirected via carvings of lions' heads. Water spouts in the form of lions' heads are also found in the buildings of ancient Greece and Rome, made of marble, terracotta, or even bronze. An excellent example comes from the Temple of Zeus in Olympia. Here, originally, there were approximately 102 gargoyle spouts, but they were heavy, fell to the ground, needed replacing, and today around 39 remain.
The English word gargoyle likely has its roots in Latin, gargula, meaning throat or gullet. It's also one of the roots for the word gargle. There is a legend of a monstrous creature, the Gargoyle, who fought 7th century Saint Romanus, Bishop of Rome under the Merovingian king Clotaire II. It is said that Bishop Romanus fought a hideous, winged, dragon-like creature that breathed fire and could fly in the night. Well, versions of the story differ as to exactly how he defeated the creature. It could have been with a crucifix, or with the help of a local condemned man, the only person brave enough to sort of step up to the challenge. Anyway, no matter the version of the story, Saint Romanus is always successful and brings the carcass of the creature back to the city of Rouen, where it is burned on a pyre, and all but its head and neck crumble to ashes. The monster's head was then mounted on the side of a newly built church to scare away all evil that would dare attack God's church. And so it became tradition that the Archbishop of Rouen could set a prisoner free on the day that the saint's reliquaries were processed around the city. This was in memory of the brave criminal who helped the saint battle the beast.
And so, according to tradition, grotesques and gargoyles are supposed to scare off evil from the boundaries of a church. Though by the 12th century, such sculptures were primarily intended for those who could not read. Europe was highly illiterate, and these grotesque beings were a good way of communicating moral lessons to the lay people. Bizarre combinations of male, female, and animal forms were frightening, but also served as a challenge to any remnants of pagan religion amongst the population, reminding people that the balance between order and chaos, natural and unnatural, was the business of the church. Many gargoyles and grotesques have gaping mouths, or indeed their mouths are being pulled open by beasts and monsters. reminding the laity that they may find themselves subject to great evil, influencing their actions and words. A common, though obscure, reference to paganism is found in carvings of the Green Man throughout Europe. And many of these carvings dealt surprisingly crudely with lessons about the body and sexuality. But for the most part, gargoyles and grotesques depicted monsters, dragons and beasts to remind people of their need of the church's protection. Over time, and with development in architecture and drainage, gargoyles became less common. And through the 18th and 19th centuries, gargoyles were barely used. Indeed, they were in danger of disappearing entirely.
There were two reasons for this. First of all, people were finding gargoyles an unnecessarily scary feature on buildings. But also, more seriously, sometimes these features would crumble and fall to the ground, often injuring people in the process, and in fact that still happens in some places to this day. So, in 1724, the British Parliament passed the London Buildings Act, making guttering and downpipes compulsory. No more gargoyles. Even though gargoyles and grotesques have somewhat fallen out of fashion, they are still indulged here and there. For example, a recent addition to the Washington National Cathedral, Washington DC, was the head of Darth Vader. What a perfect example of a modern grotesque. A scary visage peering down on those who pass by, and a warning to any evil that may well try to enter.
Another favourite of mine is this example from the early 1990s, where, during a refurbishment of Paisley Abbey, masons installed a depiction of the xenomorph from the 1979 film Alien. Now that is scary.